businesses struggle in government contracting because their sales pipeline runs dry. And if you don't have opportunities lined up and prospected for the next 16 to 24 months, then you're falling behind. My goal for this video is to explain to you the government contracting sales cycle and show you how you can keep your pipeline full using SAMsearch. So let's get into it. Now, the first thing is you have to have coverage over all levels of government contracting procurement. So what I mean by that, you have to be working with the federal government. You have to be looking at state, local, and education. And also to be ahead of everyone else, you have to look at forecasts. We're going to discuss that in details. You have to have subcontracting opportunities lined up as well because, as I've mentioned before, 65% of small business awards go through subcontracting. So it's a huge part of the pie that if you're missing out on, you're missing out on a huge portion. And moreover, especially when we talk about partnerships and subcontracting, you have to have also a pipeline when it comes to businesses you are partnering with or working with. And finally, you have to have a way to talk to business specialists at government agencies so they can hook you up with primes that are looking to partner with businesses like you. I kind of tried to cover a general idea, a broad idea of what I mean by keeping a pipeline full. Now, if you are doing your searches here, let's say we're a construction company and that's the business case that we're working with today. We are looking at federal opportunities and there are right now 924 opportunities for construction as of now that are active that we have to look into. Now, a key idea is we don't only want to look at solicitations. We want to start early. So we want to look at sources sought. And that goes in earlier in our sales pipeline, where again, we're trying to capture things because the sales cycle with government contracting is long. It's not 2 months. It's not 3 months. In some cases, it drags on for 16, 18, 24 months. So we want to have the pipeline for the next 24 months full. We're always having opportunities. We're always having conversations. Because at the end of the day, it's all about partnerships and relationships in government contracting. So how do we make those partnerships and relationships? We go after sources sought and we go after pre-solicitation. I've explained this in the past, but I'll do it again. Sources sought is when the government agency is looking for sources, information, expertise from businesses in the space. Their whole goal is it's not a guaranteed solicitation, but this is the earliest stage in which an opportunity develops. So that's the time where they are developing the opportunity. Maybe they don't want to release it. Maybe they release it. In most likelihood they do, or in sometimes they don't actually. But the key is we're trying to make a name for ourselves at the agency. For example, this is an institutional construction services contract, and they are asking for sources sought. What we have to do in this case is come in and submit a response to this opportunity, introduce ourselves to the agency. Why? Because this way we are developing a relationship with them. Now they know us on first name basis. They see us as experts in this field. If they like us and we help shape up the opportunity, then we are in a prime place and position to actually win this opportunity or maybe even a different one in the future. That's how we develop a relationship with the agency or with the contracting officer or with the project manager, because those are the people that at the end of the day, they are the ones who are making the decision in most cases. I always like to add those to my as a journey, and I'll show you my journey and what I mean by my sales pipeline. We'll get to that. Now, once I have those going on, you should also look into solicitations and try and get those as well. But my goal is we are planning for the future. We are planning to win a lot in the future. And my way of doing this is by attacking sources sought and pre-solicitation. The other one that I also like, and this is like a very few businesses actually do this, but the very successful ones always guaranteed they do this, which is look at forecasts. Every agency, they're mandated by law to submit forecast. What does that mean? Let's say an agency, they forecast to buy pens in 2026. They can't just release a solicitation in 2026. They have to release a forecast in 2025 or even before, stating that in 2026, in Q4, I plan to release a contract by this agency for this much for buying pens. So how do we use this information? It's not an easy to get information, but we have to use it for our advantage to develop a relationship with the agency, to make ourselves known. When you come in early in the sale process, your chances of winning are higher. You're coming in as early as possible with forecast, and that's what we're doing. So this one, for example, we have a construction for a courthouse. The estimated value is $1 to $2 million. It's for small businesses, and it's a new requirement. This is something I have to add into my sales pipeline. I have to look at this opportunity as a construction business, because this could be directly what I aim to do. So I'll add this again to my journey. Now, moreover, now we've covered federal and we've covered forecast. We should also look at state, local, and education, especially in your state. We don't want only to go after federal government contracts because frankly, there might be not enough. And we want to have our pipeline full, as I've mentioned. So we have to capture state, local, and education. And you could filter specifically by your state. So let's say we are in California. We only want to see opportunities in that specific state. And now we are seeing construction contracts in California. Obviously, you could specify by the city. You could filter for the specific city you work in if you work locally in one place. But the idea is we also want to see other opportunities that are not on the federal level. And that's what we are doing with state, local, and education. So, for example, this one, they do some services or some work and installation in the airport. What we want to do is we want to add that or sales pipeline. Again, we are building across multiple sources. Now we've covered federal, state, local, and education. Subcontracting is what's next. We've done forecast, now subcontracting. As I've mentioned before in this video, 65% of government contracts awarded to small businesses are through subcontracting. How do we find subcontracting? That's what we do at SAMSearch. We covered that search for you. You don't have to go and see companies. We bring all their opportunities to you. Now, a high confidence opportunity is something we have to prioritize. That's because they are actively looking for subcontractors right now. So that's what we do. For example, this company, it's a construction company. They are looking for subcontractors. We have to talk to this company. That's an opportunity. Again, if we're only looking on SAM.gov, all of these opportunities are not visible to us. Now, further on, we can, in our sales pipeline, we'll highlight this as high importance, but we could also look at other ones that are not of the highest level, and we could reach out to these companies, introduce ourselves, introduce what we do, see if they potentially are working on a specific contract or if they have subcontracting plans or if they're obligated to subcontract. So we would also want to look at medium and low confidence opportunities. Again, we are trying to get as many opportunities as possible because if we're just fixated on one source, we are missing out. Now, finally, once we have covered those, there's obviously, if you work specifically in the product, you could look into DIPS if you qualify for grants or SBIR, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. Now, we have covered it in terms of opportunities, and this is what would look like in a sales pipeline. We have these opportunities now in our sales pipeline. Each one of these is a project by itself. We have things that are in assessment. They might not even make it to in progress. They might just directly go to no bid. But with each one, there's a project. It's a task. There's a timeline that we have to cover. And that's why you have your tasks. You should have your calendar. You should have a board of tasks for that specific opportunity. For example, this one is institutional construction services. For example, we could add a task, reach out to the company and see if they need subcontractors and when. You could add more details. For example, here you could add the email, which you have in the opportunity you could do, and then you could set a due date. This way you are organized and your sales pipeline is full, and each one of these opportunities has its own timeline, its own tasks, an overview. Obviously, we've talked briefly in the past about chat. I don't want to dwell into this, but each one of these opportunities, we could view the opportunities, maybe view the original source if you want, because they are from across multiple sources. This one is federal. The idea that here in the journey, we have all the details, we have all of our contact for that specific opportunity in one place. And this is key because in the future, this is a federal opportunity. You might have to work with subcontractors. You might have to reach out to different people within that agency. You might have to reach out to people on your team, have different people run this specific project. That's why you need your tasks. You need a board for your task and a pipeline for all your opportunities. As you can see, all of these are highlighted. This one is federal. This one is forecast. This one is state, local, and education. This one is subcontracting. And with each one, as I've shown you, you have Trello board for the tasks and all the documents are in one place. The opportunity itself, all the notes are in that specific project. That's what I mean by an active pipeline. Now, moving from an opportunity-based pipeline, we want to look into a CRM or people of contact that could help me get or win government contracts. And these are two main categories. One is partnerships. Again, you don't have to find a subcontracting opportunity to reach out. There are a lot of businesses that work with the government that were very small businesses like you, and they had their chance to become a business, or even medium-sized or even large companies. Everyone subcontract. That's just the reality of government contracting. Even Boeing subcontracts, even Lockheed Martin subcontract. So if you're not looking into partnerships, a huge revenue source is missed from your sales pipeline. And that's why we want to have a partnership search. And that's why we have this here. We have almost 400,000 companies that you could work with. So let's say we are in construction. You could filter by your specific NAICS code. I don't know the NAICS code for construction, but let's say we are specifically covering multifamily housing. I want to filter by that. So now I'm filtering by that. And then I want to filter, for example, for women small businesses or 8A. I could just filter by that if that's a requirement that I need. I could also filter if they have experience with the government or not. So if I only want to work with companies that have experience with the government, then I could filter by that as well. Now, with each one of these results, I have all the information of this company to reach out and start a conversation. I have their email. I have their website. I have their SBA profile. I have a description about them. I have their certifications, their past performances, and finally, the contact information besides the NAICS code to reach out to them. It doesn't get simpler than this to actually start a conversation, reach out to these companies, and see how we can help each other. You could pitch an opportunity to them. You could hop in on an opportunity they have won. The potential of opportunities is large. It's really endless, and you can get as creative as you can with this large database of potential partners that are vetted. And all of these companies are registered with the government. They want to do business. They have past performances in a lot of cases. So it's just about you reaching out and developing a relationship. Now, I mentioned something about also having a relationship with an agency. So, and this is on the federal level. Each agency has a small business specialist, and this person, its responsibility is to help you as a small business work with the government. And we have compiled a list of almost 1,500 of these people. The main thing that these people can help you with is if they are aware of primes that have subcontracting opportunities or want to subcontract. So let's say you want to work with the Department of Agriculture and you're looking at a contract in agriculture marketing services. What you have to do in that case is reach out to Diana here and ask, do you have primes that are looking to subcontract? This is my business. This is my capability statement. These are the NAICS codes that I work in. These are my certifications. Any opportunities that you think are feasible for me. Maybe you didn't find them on SAM.gov. Maybe they have primes that are looking to subcontract. Maybe they can help you with compliance. Maybe they help you position yourself as a business to win in the future. The possibilities and the help you can get from these people is endless. And if you just reach out and you get an intel on a prime that's looking to subcontract and they make the introduction, you've really got yourself halfway through the trouble of getting an opportunity, because the prime is being recommended a subcontractor by the agency they want the contract from. You can't get a stronger signal from anyone besides a small business specialist. So having this database and having the partnership database also should fill up your pipeline with opportunities with other businesses. We're not just working with the goal at the end of the day. I don't think any one of us really care that they are working specifically with the government. The goal is to win contracts, and whether it's through subcontracting, partnerships, or even as a prime, everything goes. And so our goal is to get as many opportunities in our pipeline so it's actually full. We're always prospecting. That's my message. You should invest in a capture solution that allows you to get access to these $1 million contracts with ease, $1 million plus obviously partnerships with ease. So if you want to invest in a government procurement website like SAMSearch, check out the link in the description and in the comment. It will definitely make your life a lot easier. I would actually go and challenge you to go and find this data by yourself. I would like you to go and find forecasts. I would like you to go and find subcontracting. I would like for you to go and find all the state, local, and education government contracts. I would like you to find all these partners. In reality, you're not going to be able to find this. And even if you are, it's going to be so difficult that you're going to come back to me and want to get access to SAMSearch. A lot of businesses have won multi-million-dollar contracts on SAMSearch, and not because it's anything special. It's just that it's a process that works. So if you're willing to invest in your business, make sure to get SAMSearch and get to the next level. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.